how do I take the guesswork out of hiring? When it comes to hiring, you probably have a process in place, and you probably have hired some really great, outstanding people. You probably have hired some mediocre people, and you probably have hired some people, well, that you have some really great war stories to tell.
There's just one time I hired this person. Oh, you wouldn't believe what happened, man. It was ended up in the news, and
So while we all have our war stories to tell, avoiding more of them is probably in all of our best interests. We like to take the guesswork out of hiring. So how do we do that? As part of a defined hiring process, we like to use scientifically validated methods. Well, what's an example of that? Well, so we have two really great, amazing tools. And there's the job assessment, and there's the behavioral assessment, and the power combination this creates for matching candidates. Now, it appears like it shows up as magic, but there's 60 million assessments that have been taken. There's 500 independent validated studies. The science behind this is, well, it's pretty amazing. But while these are great data points, we want to put this into context as a defined process to help build your dream team. Let's take a look. Hello, I'm over here up in the upper right-hand corner, I believe. When it comes to hiring, one, we want a thorough job assessment as far as like what really truly are going to be the aspects of this role that the person really has to be good at. So what are the must-haves, the non-negotiables? Well, for that, we'll have the job assessment. I'm just going to show you what the process would look like. So we're going to come up here. We're going to go to the dashboard, and we're going to go to set a job target. Let's say we're going to go call it home care marketer. Or hospice liaison, whatever you want to call it. Whatever's going to be that particular. In this particular case, we're focusing on an outside sales role. Now, we're going to say here that there's no close match. We're going to create the job, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the guided job targeting process. Now I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I just want to give you an idea. So it's going to give us some choices here, and those choices have to do specifically with the activities involved in the performance of the particular role. And when we look at this particular role, this person's going to be doing outside sales. Just look through here. Selling ideas or other tangibles would be something. Now, we're going to select all the things that apply, and we're not going to select anything that doesn't. This person's not going to be managing anybody, so we're not going to select encouraging growth and development of subordinates. But anyway, so you would go through this process yourself with me, yourself with anybody who's involved in the hiring process or has any input for this role. We have the opportunity to be able to send this to other people on the team to be able to put in their input. And then we go through a few pages of this. We have the role. We've gone through picking the attributes of the role that are most important. And we have a behavioral pattern that emerges from that role. And we have some candidates that have gone through the process and they've taken the behavioral assessment, and we have the opportunity to match them to the role. And we find out that Matthew is a great match and Joe is not. So it's in red. The lower the score, the less of the match, the higher the score, the better the match. It's one data point that has to be put into context, but certainly somebody who is a 1 is not really going to be a fit for this role. And let's just take Joe, for example. And here I have the behavioral pattern in comparison to what the job assessment would require. So Joe is more reserved. Right, his extroversion, the drive for social interaction with other people is much more towards reserved. So if you're going to ask Joe to go out, shake hands, kiss babies, rub bellies, all that type of thing, at least you didn't say shaking babies and kissing bellies. Then it's going to be harder for Joe to, now I'm not saying that maybe he can't get outside of his comfort zone and to do those things, but if that's a very important aspect of Joe and what Joe has to do every day, it's going to be really difficult for him. It's going to put him in a difficult position. It's going to be hard for him to be motivated to go out and do that, and he's more likely to experience burnout. We don't want that for Joe. Joe's a great guy. I don't know Joe personally in this particular case, but I'm assuming Joe's a great guy. He's a guardian too, and not that all guardian, like for example, the guardian type we think, police officer, firefighter, but also could be a compliance individual, somebody who has to be protective of the regulatory aspects of a business, but also the reputation of a business as well. So, and there's some really wonderful, great deep dives that we can take in regard to behavioral patterns. And for this, the science behind it is really great. In this particular case, we're just showing and demonstrating what the science does. So just to recap real quick, we have a position. We've gone over the thorough assessment of the position, the behavioral pattern we're looking for. We have candidates who are at their process. We've had them matched up. This also gives us a better reflection of who it is that we're going to target for interviewing. You may have 50 candidates, and of those 50 candidates, you have maybe 3 really good matches. Focus on those candidates first. And this is going to help save a lot of time. It's going to help take the guesswork out of the process, and it's one important aspect of having a thorough, valid recruitment and hiring process. So this is where you try to sell me on something, goods, services, products, that sort of thing. They need to perform. You're building a dream team. Look, if you want to optimize your people strategy to match your business strategy, why don't we schedule some time to talk about it? It's free. We'll do a discovery call. We'll identify what's going on in your business. Maybe there's something there for you. Maybe there's a way we can help. At the very least, we'll share a cup of coffee. Tea. Screen tea. So we can share a cup of coffee or tea together.